जागती है एक नई किरण और वहीं से शुरू होता है एक नया सफर।
Unpaused, Naya Safar is a brand new collection of short films and anthology of sorts on Amazon Prime. Not quite sure अगर आपने पहला वाला Unpaused देखा था, which came out in 2020. But this one has no connection with the other one, except for the fact that, yes, broadly the COVID theme is being followed. Stick with us to find out which of the stories individually stands out and overall क्या impact है about this anthology. All right. Launching into what are the stories. So 5 short films, each one approximately 26 to about 33 minutes long. The first one is directed by Nupur Asthana, who has also done like light stuff like 4 more shorts please and Mujhse friendship karoge and all. Her story is basically about a modern couple. So it's called The Couple, and what they go through during the pandemic. One of them loses a job, and then the effect it causes on the two of them ka relationship. Uske baad we get little serious because Ayappa KM, who's an advertising guy, has directed The War Room, which is literally about a COVID war room set in Mumbai. Geetanjali Kulkarni is in this one, and she's fantastic, but the movie is a little bit dark. Then Jaggu comes Tigada.
Tigada. So 3 actors in this: Saqib Saleem, Sam, Mohan, Ashish Verma, directed by Ruchir Arun. Because of Corona, and that's almost incidental, they're put in a slightly unique situation. Basically, they've done a little bit of thuggery and things like that. And then it's a question of how the 3 of them, who might not necessarily know each other very well, they develop an arc and the whole situation and how that moves along up to its conclusion. Then there is Gond Ke Laddoo. Because, once food comes into it, I get a little excited, so I was paying a little more attention and things like that. So, Shikha Makkan has directed this, and interesting story about a courier guy who is delivering packages, gets into an accident, and then there is a whole backstory to the package. So, that's actually a wonderful story. And Vaikunt, Nagraj Manjule, he has also directed, he's also the lead actor in it effectively. And it is set in a crematorium called Vaikunt. And it's actually pretty cool.
And the irony is like in the name, because Vaikunt is, I think, Lord Vishnu's abode, so like heaven, but it's Vaikunt, the crematorium. So anyway, 5 very different stories, 5 very different directors. Jaggu, which one of these 5 stories was your favorite?
The last one, Vaikunt.
Me too. Vaikunt was, it's just very poignant, and it's very sweet, and it is very dark, and you're not kind of surprised because Nagraj Manjule, the director, has also written it. He's also acted in it, and he's fantastic. He's a national award-winning director. He's the one who's made Saran. But it is such a simple story, and it is so gritty. You don't even think that he is an actor. You think of him as the crematorium worker. Not too many dialogues, but it just works. And
Did you see that bit about the dialogues? It had the least dialogues compared to all the other 4.
Yeah.
But it didn't need it because the visual representation of what he was trying to say was so strong and was so stark that he was just cracking it. I mean, it was the screen was crackling. It was fantastic.
So that last film you must absolutely watch. Of the first 4, The Couple, I would resonate with it because we are urban. And we do live in sort of high-rise buildings, and that story is perhaps what like urban India will sort of mostly relate to, because everybody has a couple or is part of a couple in life where one of you has lost the job because of the pandemic. The friction at home when suddenly like the couple is together all the time. You're not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. Oh yeah, really? I will still pay. All of that, you do relate to it. And the 2 of them, Shreya, Dhanwanthary, and Priyanshu,
whom I'm a big fan of. She was the one in Scam.
Yeah, they're very good. They're very good, great chemistry, very sweet, but it feels light and, gentle. So I did like The Couple.
Can I tell you something? So directed by Nupur Asthana, and both great actors, Shweta as well as Priyanshu. The thing over here is that, yes, the relationship, and we relate with it, and the arc was set up very well. This was the relationship. This is the bond that they share. Something happens, how things change, and how things conclude. So the arc was fine, but at the end of it, I was like, ye kya hai? That was probably, like, given the acting was good and all of that, that was probably maybe my least favorite.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
for me, my least favorite was Teen Tigada because it felt long. You know, when you're making a short, if it feels long, then you know little bit something has gone off. So I think the problem with Teen Tigada is like you like the characters well enough, you like how it's all set up, but the story feels a little weak. It like they're just there and it goes on and on and on, and you're like, kya ho raha hai, kuch nahi ho raha hai. And it just, I think the story is weak and it should have been about at least 6-7 minutes shorter, and it's only 33 minutes. So
but you know, here's the interesting thing, because there are these three people, you sort of relate to each one in terms of what you experienced in the lockdown, and you know, maybe you get a connect in terms of if something like that happened to you. But with these guys, the play was, I see what you're saying about it being long, but the play was my current experiences and my past experiences. And then those past experiences, because you're in these unique situations of corona times and things like that, it sets off certain triggers in your head. It gives you certain biases, it gives you certain triggers, certain those experiences convert into something in a current unique environment. And I saw them do that, and I thought that part of it was interesting. But yes, otherwise, yes, a little long.
Another weak one is the Ke Laddoo. Because yes, it focuses again on the poor courier boys who have worked very, very hard and they have like impossible targets to meet and they need that 5-star rating. Sweet couple, sweet mother, but it felt very it felt unfortunately a little bit fake to me. When you watch it, you will realize. So that's another weak one. Yeah.
So the plot, all of it, of all the 5 stories, this was the most implausible plot. But I enjoyed it because now I'm starting to wonder whether if all I want is some sentient emotion. I mean, it was a weak plot and I agree with everything that you're saying, but senti or emotion tha, so I'm like, feel good.
So we also have the War Room, which is Ayappa KM. Ayappa has a background of advertising, really slick, very tight, dark, gritty, and it because it's based in a COVID war room, you are suddenly, you know, in a world which you probably didn't have access to, and it's just stuff that you've read about or heard about, and you then you know, reach a point where you're like, wow, what would I do if I were in Geetanjali Kulkarni's place? Because it gets personal. She is handling calls non-stop, people desperate, people looking for a ICU bed, looking for oxygen, and they're supposed to help. And then there is somebody who's a blast from the past, and it's not a pleasant blast. And then, you know, the confusion and how she's torn between, do I want to help, do I not want to help? The resolution happens like this, but another very, very strong story. So overall, Unpaused, 5 stories, by and large about an hour and a half, 2 hours of your time. I would definitely encourage you to watch it, because you will feel something and you will take away something. And if Unpaused season 1 was focused on, oh God, COVID, and we're so lonely and the lockdown is so pakao and we want to, like, you know, connect with people and we're missing the human connection. In Unpaused, Naya Safar, things get real. So you're actually discussing, you know, the war room or the crematorium and the deaths and the grittiness and unemployment. It's definitely more real, which is why a lot of people are preferring season 2 to season 1. But Jaggu,
can I just say one thing? There's a lesson to be learnt in this, okay? In terms of when you're dealing with such an intense situation in your own life, you tend to focus on yourself because there are these problems, but you have to take those problems for solutions to, let's call them cogs in the wheel.
Yeah.
People at the front line and things like that. What we don't realize is that, yes, they're trying to help you, but they also have their own situations to deal with because they're in the same bigger situation than you. They're in the same world. Yeah. And in more than one story, this comes out in Unpaused, and I like that part of it.
It makes you focus on the fact that after all, we're all humans and we're all in it together. Yeah. So anyway,
that came home for me in War Room.
So, okay, so it would be, I guess because it's an anthology, we need to rate not individually, but overall. On a scale of 1 to 5, Jaggu, what would you give Unpaused in Naya Safar?
You know, I did an individual rating.
Then do an average in your head and give it to us.
It came to 2.66.
Do not confuse.
3. I want to say 3.
You want to say 3?
Yeah.
I wanted to say 2.5, but you know, so that the average rating does not become 2.75, even I'll give it 3. Because a few of them I really, really loved, and
Yes.
And the ones that I didn't love, I didn't mind. So 3.
Yeah.
All right. So on a scale of 1 to 5, the Jaggu Tarana rating is 3. But dear viewer, we would really like to know your favorite stories of Unpaused and Naya Safar. Also, what would your rating be? And which of these stories kind of felt like home to you?
What
did
for
you
you?
really, really like relate to? Let us know in the comments. Please remember to like the video if you've watched it so far. Subscribe, turn that bell icon on, and remember to share it with fellow Mad Hatters. And most importantly, stay safe. Okay, bye.
Bye bye, butterfly.